Well, in typical Brooklyn Nets fashion, they went out there and lost again. Sever the bond from Nets Republic. Sever the bond from Nets Republic. Them dudes went out there and lost yet again. And it feels it's giving last season. To be quite honest with you, what it's giving last season. I feel like we've made this video before. We've been through this exact situation before. So me trying to think of a new way to flip it is driving me insane. That's why this video is actually so late. It's because I had to rewatch the game to try and see what can I say differently this year that I didn't say last year. Now, last year we had all three of them out there and they still couldn't win. So I don't know why I thought the results would be any different this year. Excuse me for being so negative. I'm just sick of them losing games they should be winning. You'll have to excuse me. Like, it's nice that they go out there and slap around the Bulls. Like, that's cute. It's dope for the memes, if you will. But we're trying to put together some semblance of importance. And it's just at the point where we just have to have this, like, this very cut-off mentality of, oh, well, the regular season doesn't matter at all. Y'all better just be ready for the playoffs. Because if you look at the records of teams in the Eastern Conference, y'all, we're like a couple losses away from being in fifth. And sure, I have been capped in the regular season, doesn't matter. But y'all, we're sliding down a certain trajectory where it's like we're going to be in the play-in at some point. This is not okay by any stretch of the imagination. Tonight we played the Cavaliers. Well, this afternoon. It's night now. But we played the Cavaliers. We played the Cleveland Cavaliers, whereas it was always a fun thing that we knew we were going to see Jared Allen yet again. We were going to see the cool pregame handshake and COVID-friendly dap-up session between Mr. Joey Headband Harris and, of course, Jared Allen. That's cool. And maybe that's dope for some of y'all, but for me, it is like rubbing in the face of my existence what we do not have anymore. And shout out Harden. Houston Harden is amazing. I'm happy he's doing his thing. He's playing well. The step back threes are going in. He's getting fouled. He's getting over to the line. He's not hitting foul shots for some reason, which, my God, what else can go wrong? But Harden's doing his thing, and I'm here for it. And y'all know I love me some James Harden. It's a recent thing, trust me, but I love me some James Harden. Don't get me wrong. It's nice to see that Houston Harden is back and clearly here to stay. Awesome sauce. But it's just seeing Jared Allen on the other side of the floor playing like the all-star we all knew he could be, just blocking Day'Ron Sharpe into oblivion. Multiple occasions, and then just looking at Harden, it's just like, oh, we had you and Karras at one time, didn't we? It just pains me a little bit. I know that this is apparently a take that seems to have Nets fans split down the middle of that trade, and we're coming up on, I think we've passed the year anniversary actually of the trade, but seeing Jared Allen is never a positive thing for me because it's like, oh my God, the one that got away, but that's neither here nor there. I feel like a couple of my exes in high school, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, also, happy Martin Luther King Day. Just throw that one out there, but that's neither here nor there. The Cleveland Cavaliers went out there, and they had a starting lineup of a bunch of people who I don't know, but a couple of them, 3 to be exact, were over 7 feet tall. And if I can quote the homie Enzo Amore, you can't teach that. And it's like, on paper, you're looking at that like, well, what are the Cavs doing? They're over there starting 3 7-footers. How's that going to work in their favor? But then you look at our team, and we done started Day'Ron Sharpe, Kessler Edwards at 4. You got Harden out there, and you got Patty Mills, and you've got Kyrie Irving. Is Kyrie our 3? Like, Jesus and crackers. Like, it's just too much for me. Kyrie at 3, my guy? That's what we're going with, Mr. Stephen Colbert Nash? Kyrie at 3 against a starting lineup with 3 7-footers? What is Patty doing starting? And if Patty Mills didn't start and I just got that mixed up with someone else, which I'm pretty sure Patty started. I am more than, I'm going to put that on a lot of different things. I'm pretty sure Patty started. If I'm wrong on that, I apologize. But I'm pretty sure Patty started. You already know you're down a plethora of individuals, yet for some reason, you know you don't have a DeAndre Bembry, yet for some reason you decide, let's have our only other offensive weapon. And we already, I don't know what I'm turning into here. I'm turning into Mo from The Simpsons at this point like that. You know, when someone's trying to diss you, fly girl, you can't see my legs, but that's what I'm doing. You already know that you have two of the big three out there in Kyrie Irving and James Harden. So offensively, you're good. You're good. You don't need any more. You're good. But you want to leave the bench lineup to just who else played? Because it was such a questionable tight leash coming off the bench. That leaves you with Bruce Brown, who Jesus, we will get to him. That leaves you with Bruce Brown. That leaves you with Cam Thomas, which shout out Cam, and LaMarcus Aldridge. I'm thinking that's about it, because the report of availability was really weird too, because we know Claxton's still out, we know KD's out for obvious reasons, we know Joe Harris isn't out there, all them individuals are hurt, but for some reason we didn't have a James Johnson, and I was like, agaga, and for some reason we didn't have Paul Millsap, and it's like, for me with Paul Millsap is like when it's finally Paul Millsap o'clock, right? When it is that general time where I would assume we would crack the glass on a Paul Millsap because we're just down so many people at this point. You would think this would be his time to shine, but it feels like every time it's Paul Millsap o'clock, that man is nowhere to be found. And I seem to hear a different excuse every other day of why the man is not with the team. Like sometimes allegedly, sometimes allegedly it's because he's having a kid. Sometimes it's allegedly there's stuff going on with his family or something like that. Like this man is so MIA from the team. I mean, it's, and we never talk about it. And it's like, am I not supposed to bring this up? It's concerning because it's Paul Millsap o'clock and the man is never with the team. And if I remember back to the summer of this year, of last year, I seem to believe that we were choosing between an Alize Johnson and a Paul Millsap. And a Paul Millsap that is not getting to play by choice of Steve Nash is one thing, but a Paul Millsap that is not available to play when we let a perfectly good player go. Perfectly good young player go. It's beyond me what's going on with that, but that's neither here nor there. Also, Blake Griffin. Blake, I love me some Blake Griffin, I really do. But it's like, Jesus Christ and a half. Like, if I had Blake Griffin on my team, regardless what year it is, I am going to do my best to try to put him in a position to where he can be of some use offensively. Not just have him stand in the corner and attempt to shoot threes, because Blake Griffin, the pull-up jump shot, like I don't know where that narrative even started, where this archetype of Blake Griffin even started, but having that man spot up in the corner is just not how you use Blake Griffin. But again, we can just keep on ignoring the incompetence of Steve Nash. That's fine. We'll leave it alone. I'll get off the Blankety Blake stuff for just a quick second. So, Patty Mills starts. We have this itty-bitty lineup out there with 3 7-footers, and exactly what you think happened. Kyrie went out there and was saucing people right and left because there was no one out there who could keep in front of him, and especially with all the switching going on, you've got 7-footers on Kyrie. They're not going to be able to keep up with that man. Same thing with James Harden. When you start getting to the switching and it's no longer Garland and whoever else was out there, you're talking about Markkanen, you're talking about Jared Allen, no offense, shout out Fro, and you're talking about their Mosley guy, not Mr. Mosley from The Sweet Life on Deck and the first one, but Mosley, their super tall, shot blocking, amazing aficionado, apparently octopus rookie that they have out there. So obviously those switches, they're not going to be able to keep up with those two. But again, you get back to the issue that we keep bringing up is the construction of the team. And when you factor in the fact that it's like 5 of the players are gone and 2 of them don't really have a valid reason to not be there, that's a no-call, no-show if you ask me. If I do 3 of those, I'm on the street. But apparently Paul Millsap and... Anyway, it just didn't go well. That's the best way to sum it up. It just didn't go well because I could go off on 13 different tangents, but I'm trying to keep some form of consent because there's so many different things we could talk about with the loss of this game, but that's not here there. So Kyrie's doing his thing, Harden's doing his thing, but with the construction of the team, we've discussed a million times now, you need all 3 of them because it is so obvious what the Nets are doing. James Harden's trying to get his pick and roll stuff off, but even if you're able to get the specific looks and passes and needle threading or whatever you want to call it that Harden is trying to get off with the bigs and other individuals that aren't just mash ISO and move on. When you've got 3 7-footers in the paint, you're not going to get that off. So you cut off the lane and it's just like, well, the Nets just have to shoot you out of the game. Well, then that goes to an issue of, well, who's going to shoot? Kessler Edwards had a couple of good looks here and there, but Patty contributed a tiny bit, but really, it was just Kyrie and Harden. Now, Bruce Brown had a couple of cool looks with the floater every now and again, but that man was in foul trouble immediately, so that didn't go too well. No Claxton, so didn't get to see what would happen with that. This was the first time I saw Day'Ron Sharpe losing a matchup, which we knew this was going to happen eventually, but Jesus, it wasn't looking good for that man. So much so that Steve Nash decided to bench him and put LaMarcus Aldridge in there, which shout out to LaMarcus Aldridge. I love that man. It's just I'm kind of putting him in the Blake Griffin category to where it's like if I had LaMarcus Aldridge on my team, I would be using him in a way that would make him of some use offensively. Now, yes, the occasional open jumper he will have and nail is great, but how about giving him a look in the post? How about letting him go to offensive land every now and again? Like, I just feel like these individuals are not being used properly. If you want to run the pick and roll with LaMarcus Aldridge and it results in him having a layup or dunk, I mean, that's cool, but I don't feel like that's utilizing him properly. But hey, here's a crazy idea. What if for each of these legendary forwards that we have acquired, what if we ran plays for them? Can you imagine? Can you imagine if we would do a thing like that? And it's not like we're talking about a DeAndre Bembry, no offense. It's not like we're talking about Bruce Brown, no offense. It's not like we're talking about James Johnson, no offense. We're talking about Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge. I think it's okay to run a play for them. They are stars. But instead, we have them as these utility belt individuals. Anyway, we got... It was a close game. Shouldn't have been because it's the Cavs. I guess they've been playing better this year. But close game. They choked and a couple of missed layups, an in-and-out 3 from Kai, silly turnovers. We lost the game. And it's like, that's already frustrating enough to have to walk away from this is an away game where we're supposed to dominate because we got Kyrie and Harden, but cool. But then the post-game stuff begins. And the lateness of this video has me able to cover two things at once. Not only did we lose another unacceptable loss, we lost another game, but then the reporters decided, oh, here's our chance to harass Kyrie Irving. Now, your personal opinions on all the extracurricular stuff aside, because I'm not asking that, your personal opinions on all the Kyrie extracurricular stuff aside, I don't know if after a loss, an embarrassing loss, where you see James Harden isn't even in the huddle in the timeout, he's so frustrated. You use this opportunity to ask Kyrie why he's not vaccinated. And it's like, geez, like, are we going through enough? Like, media-wise, aren't we going through enough trying to think of ways to defend this team, even though they don't want to play no defense, but that's not the there. And again, we could talk about a million other things with this game. I'll just sprinkle in there. They, again, played no defense whatsoever, just leaving dudes wide open, but that's not either there. But after all the shenanigans we go through in the game, then you want to stir the vaccine pot, and it's like, ugh. And, like, Kyrie addressed it and kind of brushed it off. But then Homie came back at Kai, and it's like, bruh, can we not do this tonight? Like, there's so many other things to talk about. Like, can we not do the vaccine thing tonight, please? But that encapsulates our season. That's why this just hasn't been fun. And I apologize if I appear negative, but this season just hasn't even been fun. Because it's like, even when they were winning, it's like, God, every day is something else. Now you add on top of it that we're losing games and just free falling down the Eastern Conference leaderboard. It's just like, I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I don't know anymore. It's literally at the point where I don't even check and see who we're playing. I just say, oh, we're playing today, and just prepare for whatever. Because it's like, either it's a night of, wow, they can't be stopped, they're incredible, or, oh my God, we got to figure something out. I will continue to have the stance of, there are a few options we can go with, whichever one they go for, I could care less. You either trade Kyrie for someone that can play all the time, that's going to bring somewhat similar value, or pieces that will bring somewhat similar value. You pay the fine so Kyrie can play every game he's available for. Or you go get a center, a real center. You do one of those three things, I personally think this season is saved. I don't care which one they do, just get it done. Maybe other people don't agree with that for some reason. I would love to hear what you think. If you disagree with what I just said, like, please tell me your alternative here. But I stand by the fact you do one of those three things, we'll be fine, and it'll be able to save the season. If we continue to do none of them, I mean, we might get knocked out by the Cavs at this point in the playoffs, and I just don't know. I just know with each loss we are sliding closer and closer to the play-in, and that is such a shame. But anyway, settle the bond. Nets Republic. Let me know your thoughts on the game down below. My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.